You asked the questions. I've got the answers. It's my Q&A video, part 1, today on Darth Rage Reviews.
The Force is with you, young Skywalker. But you are not a Jedi yet.
Greetings, Force fans, and welcome to another episode of Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force. If you'd be so kind, I'd love it if you would hit that subscribe button, guys. It costs you nothing. Nothing at all. Hit the notification bell so you know when I'm dropping videos. I drop videos daily, sometimes, many times, multiple times a day. If you like Star Wars cosplay props, just if you like me in general, you won't be disappointed. Hit that subscribe button. Also, I do giveaways. I give away stuff all the time. Ask people. They know. They know. And the only way to win is to be a subscriber. So, there you have it. All right, today, guys, this is my much anticipated, long awaited, much maligned Q&A video. I put out a couple posts asking for you guys to ask me questions. What do you guys want to know about me? Anything at all. And it is now my time to answer them. So we're going to get right to it. And we're going to start with question number 1. If you could only have one saber from your collection, all the others are gone, which would it be and why? And, you know, that is a tough one because I've got a lot of sabers that I really like in my collection. I also use sabers very often in my little TikTok short videos, and I use different sabers. So if I had to nail it down to one, it would be my Reaver from Dark Wolf Customs. And that's for a couple reasons. The main reason is that this is the Profi NeoPixel that I have. It's actually the only Profi NeoPixel that I have now that I think of it, because I've given the other ones away. And so it's the only one I have that I can really, I mean, I've got a XenoPixel. I could upload fonts to that, but this is the only one that I can really do unique custom blade styles. And it's got gesture controls and all that too. So it's just my favorite, you know. It's still probably my favorite of all my lightsabers, you know, and you know, that's a tough one because that'd be me giving up my Kylo hilt that I probably utilize more than any others, the Kylo and the Obi-Wan. So I'd have to give both those up. It's a tough choice, but just the advantages of having a Profi and being able to do all the things that you can with a Profi, I would have to go with the Reaver. So good question. Good question. That's question number 1 out of the way. There we have it. All right. Question number 2. If you could go back in time and talk to yourself when you first started the channel, what advice would you give to yourself? That is another good question. Probably the biggest piece of advice I would give myself is just to be yourself. I think when we start out doing this kind of thing, we tend to emulate other channels that are out there. You know, you do that because you've never gotten in front of a camera and talked before. Or most of us had not gotten in front of a camera and talked before. So you do what you see. But I'd still, you know, and that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I think that we all, you know, need to do that until we kind of find ourselves. But do it in the most you way that is possible. You know, just stay authentic to you. And I'm proud that when I kind of look back at my original Darth Rage YouTube channels, there's a whole lot of similarities to what I'm doing now. I feel like the production value's gone up, but the heart of it is the same. So, you know, I would say number 1, I would, you know, make sure to kind of be true to your voice. But 2, I would tell myself, don't be afraid earlier on. Don't be afraid to jump into the cosplay, the props, that part of it earlier. Because it probably took me, the channel was around for almost, you know, 8-9 months before I really got into, it was when coronavirus really hit that I got into the cosplay part of it. So I think the advice I would give myself earlier is don't be afraid to jump into that sooner, because when I found that and kind of switched the channel from just a lightsaber specific channel to kind of a more well-rounded cosplay, lightsaber, Star Wars in general, that's really when the channel started to grow and I kind of started to get a lot of you guys in. So the piece of advice I would have given myself earlier is, don't be afraid to jump in to the cosplay part sooner. The advice I would give all of you, other than that, find your voice, again, don't be afraid to emulate what's out there, especially if it's somebody successful, if they're doing something well, there's no reason why you can't kind of copy their style or copy what they're doing while you're finding your voice. But look up some videos on how to light, and I think I've got a couple out there I think I've got a video on my studio setup and kind of what I do here, but it's not really difficult or really expensive to make your videos look more professional. And that'll set you apart as well. So, look, don't be afraid to do the research and do that. Ooh, another thing I wish I would have gotten into earlier is the analytical side of it. There's an app called YouTube Studio and, YouTube Studio on the web that are really great at kind of helping you analyze where your viewers are coming from, what videos are successful, and, why people are watching what they're watching. So I wish I would have gotten into the analytics a little earlier as well. So hope that answers your question. That's question number 2. Done. All right, question number 3. And this one's kind of it's a little harder to answer than the others. But so the question is, what's your fondest Star Wars memory story that you shared with your brother? So for those that don't know, I had a twin brother who passed away, I think 4 years ago. And Star Wars kind of was our deal, man. That was what we loved together. So yeah, it was tough, when he passed, and he was actually, way more into it than I am. I know it's hard to believe. But yeah, he was 501st Boba Fett, Return of the Jedi Boba Fett with the Midwest Garrison in Chicago. Like the legit was throwing out first pitches at Chicago White Sox games, that kind of, legit Star Wars cosplay. So yeah, and I thought about this one for a while, and I've got really 2 memories, and I'm going to share them both with you, if you guys, hope you guys don't mind. That really stick out around Star Wars and my brother. So one is when we went to first see Return of the Jedi. So this was, 86? 86, 87, whatever year it was. I think it was in 7th grade at the time. So the world was different then. As far as like spoilers, we didn't have the internet. You didn't really have spoilers per se. At least we didn't for the first 2 movies. You had the trailer, again, that you only saw if you went to see other movies. And you had sometimes commercials that would, air as well. But pretty much it was just, there wasn't a whole lot spoiler-wise until people had seen the movie. Return of the Jedi, when that came out, my brother and I actually got the illustrated comic of the whole movie, and had it a couple weeks before the movie. So we actually went into the movie knowing exactly what would happen. And that was a unique experience for us. But I remember my parents purchased us tickets. I guess I was in 7th grade, purchased us tickets at the time. And it was, I want to say, like a Wednesday or Thursday. So we got out of school and my parents drove me down to the theater. The building's still there. It's probably about 40 minutes from where I live now. But it's no longer a movie theater. It's like an abandoned. It's next to a mall. But I remember, standing outside that theater and just, being really psyched and excited to kind of see what I knew was going to happen from the comics, on the big screen. And there was kind of cool because there was a couple things that were in the comics that didn't come through, and part of it that was different. So I was still surprised at times, but, I just have a vivid memory of seeing that movie, with my brother. And it's just one of those core, can kind of go there, happy place memories. Now the other one kind of ties into that as well, because the other one happened that I want to say it was the same year. It may have been the year after. I don't know. It was either in 7th grade or 8th grade. I can't remember exactly. So it was, 86, 87. David Prowse came to, and I know it had to be after the movie came out, because my brother and I actually brought that comic that I referred to that we'd read, we brought it to this event that we went to. Anyway, I went to a little bitty Catholic school in Mobile, Alabama called Holy Family. We had, in my 8th grade class, I think we had maybe 20 people. I think less than 20 people in my entire 8th grade class. So that'll give you an idea. And this was a kindergarten through 8th grade school. So maybe, 200 kids in the whole school. Little tiny Catholic school. And David Prowse, who played Darth Vader, actually came to our school in Mobile, Alabama as the Green Cross Code Man. So the Green Cross Code Man was kind of a safety guy in Great Britain. Some of the British guys, like Sam, Absolute Sam, I'm sure you know who the Green Cross Code Man is. Anyway, in the early 80s or the mid 80s, he was kind of McGruff the crime dog for kids in Great Britain. So he'd teach them how to cross the road safely and things like that. So he came to our school as the Green Cross Code Man, and it was, for a lifelong Star Wars fan at that point, this was the biggest thing that ever happened in my life. So he gave, a nice presentation. He talked about safety for a little bit, but then really spent time talking about Star Wars, and talking about how just the fun with it. He mentioned how he thought he was going to be the voice. He did all the lines in the original Star Wars, and was kind of surprised when he heard a different voice coming out of in the movie when he saw it. But just really shared some really cool Star Wars stories with us. And then my brother and I brought up, and I've shown it. Actually, hold on. I'm going to pause the video for 1 second. All right, I'm back. I had to mess with the filing cabinet back there to find this. So this ratty-tatty, it's actually got kind of mildew on it. It was in my parents' attic for a long time. It was a scrapbook that my brother and I put together. We brought this up, and at the time it was full of Star Wars cards and toy backs and all kinds of little tacky shit. Something an 8th grader would do and put together. But he took the time to go through the entire thing while we were there with him. Probably took 5 minutes looking through the entire thing, and then signed it right here. I don't know if you can read it on this, but it's "May the Force be with you, David Prowse." Sorry, "May the Force be with you, David Prowse, Darth Vader." And we actually also got him to sign that comic, which I gave to a friend probably about 10 years ago. And I know he's kept it safe to his safe, because he's also a big Star Wars fan. But those are my two fondest Star Wars memories with my brother. Both ironically around the Return of the Jedi, which here's another little secret. I tell people A New Hope is my favorite Star Wars movie. Return of the Jedi is actually my favorite Star Wars movie. I don't know why I'm embarrassed to say that. But yeah, Return of the Jedi is actually my favorite Star Wars movie. So go figure. Or kill me. Sue me. Anyway, those are my two favorite memories with my brother. Hope you enjoyed those. All right, the next question, I've lost count of numbers, so I'm done with numbers. These are just all the next question. So the next question, who is your favorite Star Wars character and why? So I have a lot of answers to this question, and I apologize that if I had to just say one character above all, it would be Luke Skywalker, just because Luke Skywalker. So many different characters are my favorite. So Luke, because he was my OG. He was the one that I related to in the original trilogy. He was the protagonist, the of the original trilogy. The story kind of followed his arc, and he was Star Wars for me. Whereas I think my brother would have been Han Solo. Luke was always my guy. If you expand upon that, I also dearly, dearly love Chewbacca. Chewie is just one for me that every time we go to Disney, I've got to find him there. I got to talk to him. Back when they had the meet and greets, I'd have to give him a hug. It wasn't a trip to Disney until I gave Chewie a hug. Chewie's just, I don't know, he just symbolizes kind of a hope to me. Just the guy that's always going to be there for you. So really, really, really dig Chewie. When you get into overall bad guys, I dig Kylo Ren. I dig the way the character was portrayed by Adam Driver. I feel like he is a redeeming factor of the sequel trilogy. I like his story arc. He's kind of the only one that had a real story arc in the sequel trilogy. I don't want to start any sequel trilogy fight here, but yeah. Kylo, as far as dark side users, Vader because he's the OG. Nobody gets nastier than Vader. And if we had to go bounty hunters, obviously Din Djarin, and part of that's just because he looks so damn cool. That armor is just badass. But two, he is a man of honor. And that show, is kind of really a show about a father and its child. And I like that. And I relate to that. I relate to the protection and the wanting to, protect that child. So Din Djarin. Then you get into droids. And man, it seems like it used to be easy. It used to be R2. That's what you got. But there are so many cool, appealing, just heartwarming droids that are now in the Star Wars universe. From BB-8 to Dio, my boy Dio. The first Dio is the first depressed droid that we've seen, and he's fucking awesome. Excuse my language. BD-1 from the Fallen Order, and now BD in the Mandalorian or Book of Boba Fett series. So many droids. If I had to pick my favorite all-time droid, though, and if anybody tells R2, I'll kick your ass, but my favorite all-time droid is Chopper. I love Chopper, and I'd love to see more of Chopper in upcoming, perhaps Ahsoka or maybe some Mando, but I'd love to see more live-action Chopper. But Chopper is my favorite droid. So, I know I didn't really narrow it down to one, but in a nutshell, it's my favorite Star Wars characters and why. So let's go to the next question. Next question is, how many shorts have you made? I'm going to be lazy and not actually try to count these because I don't think there's an easy way. Actually, I may be able to look it up on my computer, but I'm going to be lazy and not go get my computer and do it. But I would tell you that for the last probably 3 months, on average, I've been recording about 25 of them a week. So 25 times 4, 3 months. So that's like at least 300 or 400 in the last 4 months. I'd say I've probably done well over 1,000 of them. They're easy to do. You can, honestly knock these things out in no time. So when I'm doing the cosplay, transition shorts, typically I will do those 1 day a week. And I'll set aside, it takes me, depending on, if I'm doing just one costume, it'll probably take me about an hour. If I'm doing 2 or 3 or, all 3 costumes, usually it takes me about an hour and a half, 2 hours. As I got to get this room set up and changed out. I basically just kind of put a curtain up almost where the camera is right now and put the camera over here shooting back at the curtain. So it probably takes me, 10, 15 minutes to change that and light the room. And for lighting, I'm literally just using flashlights to splash up color onto that black sheet that I'm hanging down. And then, depending on, it takes me probably 20 minutes to put on the Mandalorian costume, about 10 to 15 minutes to put on Kylo, and, maybe 5-10 minutes to put on a Jedi costume. So changing between those and shooting all the parts, if I'm doing transitions, I'll shoot all the pre-stuff, so I'm shooting 20 to 25 first parts of the video, then change into the Jedi costume, do all the Jedi parts, change into the Kylo, do all the Kylo parts, change into the Mando, do all the Mando parts. So it takes me about 2 hours to do that, knock out, 25 or so videos in that 2 hours. So, I'm really, it seems like a whole lot of work, but I'm really only doing it, probably 1 day a week. Typically it's what I'll do. I'll devote 1 day a week to that, and then 1 day a week to doing YouTube videos, and then edit those and kind of put them out there in and around that schedule. So hope that answered that. All right, guys, I am going to cut it there for today, but there is a part 2 coming, and I will post it hopefully in just a couple days. You guys humbled me with the amount of questions you've asked, and I had to kind of narrow it down to what some of my favorites were. So I hope you guys enjoy all this. Look for part 2 coming soon. Hope you enjoyed this today. As always, I am Darth Rage. This is Darth Rage Reviews, your source for the Force.
The circle is now complete. When I left you, I was but the learner. Now I am the master.